Welcome back to the Jaco Report. Charlie Dooley has been St. Louis County Executive for 10 years now, and next year he says he intends to run for another 4-year term. His supporters say under his leadership, the county has maintained its AAA bond rating and is attracting a lot of new businesses. His detractors say the county has lost population during what they call the ethically challenged Dooley administration. Today, a conversation with the county's top executive. Charlie Dooley spent his entire life in these parts. He graduated from Wellston High School, served in Vietnam, and worked for McDonnell Douglas for 3 decades. He was elected alderman and mayor of the town of Northwoods and became the first African-American elected to the St. Louis County Council back in 1994. In 2003, the county board appointed him county executive to succeed Buzz Westfall, who died unexpectedly. Dooley won the job in a 2004 special election and was re-elected in 2006 and again in 2010. From his missteps to his successes, St. Louis County Executive Charlie Dooley is here to talk it all over with us this morning. Good to have you in. Thank you very much for coming in.
Good morning.
One thing I've noticed, we're not even in next year's election season yet, and already County Councilman Steve Stenger, who looks like he wants to run against you in the primary, has come out with a flyer that it says alarming times in St. Louis County, and basically goes down this whole laundry list of things and says, look, Charlie Dooley is not running an ethical administration. They don't seem to be exceptionally competent, and are you fed up yet? We'll get to the specifics in a minute, but overall, when you get hit with a charge like that, you know, your administration has been, quote, ethically challenged, how do you fire back?
First of all, I look at that as a person that doesn't have the knowledge of the county and what's happening in St. Louis County. In other words, whoever would say that would be misinformed or just ignorant of the facts of what goes on in St. Louis County.
So your administration, given the problems you've had with property tax increases, some hiring things a couple of years ago, were these just missteps? Was there something structural going on here? Was this just the kind of stuff that's going to happen to anybody who's running a large government?
Well, first of all, there have not been any tax increase in the property tax since I've been county executive. Just the opposite, it has been lowered. So to say that the property tax has been increased is a misstatement.
So when we had that flap, what was it, a couple of years ago when it looked like county parks might be closed down, I've often been confused about that. Was it just the addition didn't work out or what? Because we thought we had a budget crisis and it turned out there was a slight budget surplus. How did all that come down?
First of all, there was an issue with the county parks. In 2004, there was a proposal put before the county on increasing the county tax for the support of this parks. That failed by less than 1%. The parks budget is approximately $26 million. Their revenue is $18.5 million. For the last 9 years, we have been subsidizing the parks from the general fund into the park system.
And that's continuing to this day.
To this day. We can no longer afford to continue to do that and keep our rating and put the resources throughout St. Louis County that is meaningful and bring value to the entire county. But at the same time, no park was closed, which was a misstatement. No park had ever been closed. We got 12,000 acres of parkland. We got plenty of parks in St. Louis County for everyone to enjoy. There's no question about that.
Well, does it mean, though, if this is unsustainable over a long period of time, that sooner or later something's going to have to be done? I mean, parkland sold off or something like that, because they're bringing in less money than it takes to run them.
First of all, you don't sell public property. We don't sell county parks. You reduce the services. And we took the unfortunate turn last time is to lay some people off in the parks, which we did, to maintain that balance and to bring the parks in conformity to the revenue in which they receive. And we did that.
Now, moving fast forward on the good side of the economic ledger, in the last last month or so, there's been a run of really good economic news in St. Louis County. The Express Scripts proposal, you've got the Danforth Plant Science Center is going to expand. You've had an announcement from Boeing that they're setting up new operations there. What's going on here? Because you're getting a lot of jobs that are not just jobs. These are high-tech, high-education, high-value jobs that are coming in. This has obviously been a long process, but why do you think all this stuff is cascading at once?
Well, first of all, the previous 4 years have been difficult for every region in the United States. Everybody has had this difficulty with job loss. There's no question about it, some hard times. But what is happening now is the economy is picking up, it's turning around. The corporate citizens are beginning to let go some money and invest in themselves again to create jobs and opportunities, and this is what's taking place at this time.
What's the competitive advantage we've got in St. Louis County as opposed to some other place? I mean, if somebody comes to you and says, Mr. Executive, you've got St. Louis County, and then we've got, you know, Philadelphia and Portland, Oregon, and a million other places we could move. What's the main pitch you guys make to try to get new business here?
Well, first of all, the economy of scale. Living in the St. Louis region is very economical. There's no question about it. The housing stock is very affordable. The living is very affordable. Secondly, we got some great amenities in the greater metropolitan area. For example, the zoo, the history museum, the art museum, those things at no cost to the person walking across the door. Now, it's cost in the property taxes, but no cost, regardless of your income level. You are welcome to those amenities in the St. Louis metropolitan area. And thirdly, we got a great skill force here in the St. Louis area. A lot of great skills are right here. And fourth, we have some great universities. You got the University of Missouri St. Louis, you got Washington University, you got St. Louis University, you have Lindenwood, you have Fontbonne, you have Webster. We have some great resources. We got a great junior college system. 4 junior colleges right in the St. Louis metropolitan area. They're doing a tremendous job. Then our technical schools, our unions and tradesmen, all those contribute to a great workforce and a great quality of life. If you think about the Great Rivers Greenway, the trails, the quality of life, the bicycling, we have it all right here in the St. Louis region.
Moving forward, does our infrastructure need some work? I noticed that plans for the so-called South County Connector are on the table again, which would essentially complete more or less 170 going south to join up with the Beltway down there. There's a lot of people in the southern part of St. Louis County who aren't crazy about this. What's your thought? Is a major infrastructure project like the South County Connector really necessary right now, you think?
I believe it is. First of all, if we had did the right thing a few years ago by extending 170 all the way to South County, that was the right thing to do at that time. We chose not for a host of reasons. We didn't do it. And when you don't do what you're supposed to do, there's a consequence. Well, the problem didn't go away. Congestion is still there, and there still is no easy way to get from Clayton to South County. That's a reality.
But the same type of opposition that stopped that more than 10 years ago looks like it's at work again. People saying, I don't want it in my backyard. You've got to gather up all this property. These were exactly the same kind of objections that stopped 170 from being completed all the way to South County. What makes you think that the cross-county connector, the South County connector, could actually be completed if we weren't able to do this 10 years ago?
Here's the issue. You can say the same thing about I-64. There's a lot of opposition about I-64. I believe that we do not invest in ourselves and into infrastructure, our community will not expand, the business growth will not expand, job creativity will not expand, and the attractiveness of the St. Louis region would not be there. We need to continue to invest in ourselves if we want others to invest in us as well. It's the right thing to do, and doing the right thing sometimes, Charles, is a very difficult thing, a lot of opposition, but at the end of the day, it pays great dividends.
I was going to ask, how much of a hard sell is that going to be?
We will see. Again, it's not built. We're just talking about conceptual drawings. There's no designs at all. There's no money to even build it. So again, we're just talking about an impact study to see what the possibilities are and how it impacts our community.
And when we come back, we're going to talk about a few more projects like that. Stay with us. We'll be back with more from St. Louis County Executive Charlie Dooley after these messages on the Jaco Report. Please don't go away. Welcome back to the Jaco Report as we continue our conversation with St. Louis County Executive Charlie Dooley. When we left, we were talking about the expansion of infrastructure, things like the South County Connector. What about the expansion of MetroLink, especially now that it's pretty clear this is probably going to have to be done on the local dime, that there's not going to be much of any money coming from Washington, D.C. for this? I mean, do you think it's necessary, or do you think we should just sit back and wait thinking, okay, MetroLink's built out enough, let's wait until more outside money comes in to help build it?
But one of the things we have promised the citizens of St. Louis County, we will not build the next MetroLink with all taxpayers' dollars here in the region. We felt that it was a great need for federal dollars to match what we have. So that's the commitment we had to the people of St. Louis County, that it will not all be St. Louis County taxpayers' money. Will have to be some federal money involved in the process.
So if the feds don't cough it up, MetroLink's not going to expand.
Well, at this point in time, where we are right now is that it has to be a 50-50. The federal government and St. Louis County working together to make a difference. Now, that's the promise that we made. If things changes and those things, the outcome changes, we need to go back to the people and say, here's where we are, what do you want to do? Because there are some opportunities. One of the things that St. Louis County wants to do with the next MetroLink is to go to Westport. We believe Westport is the best place for it because of the jobs opportunity. There's more than 10,000 jobs there. We want to get people to goods and services and to jobs to make a difference and link them up to something that'll value and make a difference in people's lives.
You know, we talk a lot about divisions in this region, and yet within St. Louis County, we often have, North County versus West County versus South County. With the constituencies you deal with, does that prove to be much of a problem that folks will look at their own parochial interests and say, I'm just interested in this and I really don't care what's going on in another part of the county? Or is there a growing sense that it's one big county and it rises or falls together?
Well, it all depends on what the subject matter is, quite frankly. But I would tell you that as a whole, north, south, east, or west, it makes no difference. Everybody wants their area to be the best it can be. They believe they're in competition with one another. I'm here to tell you that is not true. There is enough to go around for all of us, and we all have to do it together. And it's my job as county executive, as in a leadership role, to make sure that they understand that things that are done in North County is going to benefit the people in South County. Things that are done in South County is going to benefit the things for people in West County. In West County, we do things in West County, it's going to benefit those people in Central County. In other words, wherever we do any place, it is a holistic point of view. How does it bring value to the entire county?
Now, speaking of which, there's been this kerfuffle in South County about this senior citizens home for low-income senior citizens being built by this nonprofit church organization out of Columbus, Ohio. And a lot of folks in the Oakville area have reacted very, very badly to that, saying, well, wait a minute, this is HUD, this is low income, we can see this place turning into a slum, we don't want it. And you've said before, well, wait a minute, there was plenty of notice given on this thing and this project should go ahead. Have any of the objections from the folks down there about this project changed your mind, or do you think this thing should still go ahead and their objections aren't right?
Again, we have many HUD projects in St. Louis County, all over St. Louis County. They have a major role in the development and creativity of our county. We talk about senior citizens, a place where people want to live. We have data that indicate that senior citizens want to live where they lived all their lives. They can no longer afford their houses. They want to live within the same community. This is give them an opportunity to live in the community. These are people that are at least 62 years of age. They have every right to live in their own community. And again, because it's a federal project, does that mean it has not value? Sometimes most of the projects that we have in our community are federally funded. If it's the highways infrastructure, if it's MetroLink, they all bring great value, even in housing projects.
But you and I both know there's a certain, racial and social class undercurrent for this, because if you read on social media, a lot of the comments, people are saying, my God, you get a HUD subsidized low-income thing, and what they say, quite frankly, is you're going to have what happened in North County, by which I imagine they're meaning that you're going to have low-income African Americans moving in, the crime rate's going to go up, the neighborhood's going to go completely to you-know-what. I mean, valid concerns, or do you think people are running around for panic for no reason?
I think those are unfounded concerns. I think they're very misguided people. And I think that, again, it's our responsibility in the leadership role and elected officials to understand that everybody won't always agree how you do your business and what is good for the community. But the vast majority of countyans in St. Louis County agree this is a great project, it is needed, the demographics says it needs to be there, it should be there, the process was done properly, the procedures was done correctly, all those things was done, people was notified appropriately. The project is a good project, it makes sense, and that's why they have not stopped the project.
How much cooperation do you see coming between the city and county? I know there have been various things. The economic development arms of the city and county have now merged. County police and the city police bomb and arson squads. have merged. Can you see more of that to the point where St. Louis City could re-enter St. Louis County as a municipality and thereby do away with a lot of these county offices? How do you see that progressing? Because, of course, if you mention to a lot of St. Louis Countyans, the city of St. Louis coming back in, their hair catches on fire. How do you read the political future of that?
Well, first of all, it does make sense for the city of St. Louis and St. Louis County to continue to cooperate in every way possible. For example, we cooperate with the Dome, the stadium, the MetroLink, MSD, Great Rivers Greenway, the amenities in the parks and the zoo, and all those things bring value to people. What I've always said, if you tell people you're from Florissant, from Northwoods, from Clayton, or from Chesterfield, or from Wildwood, it means nothing to you. All they know is the city of St. Louis and the St. Louis region. That's how the world view us, as one. Now, because we don't think of ourselves as one, doesn't mean that we're not thought that way globally and internationally as well. So again, it is in our best interest to do the things that we're doing that make sense for this entire region to be very successful.
You grew up around here. You know how people's mindsets are. How do you change that?
You keep doing the hard things and the right things in respect of those individuals. In other words, just because there's opposition sometimes indicate you're doing the right thing for the right reason. And I believe we're doing the right things for the right reason to move our community forward. And one of those things is immigration. We talk about immigration, how the St. Louis has not grown. We recognize that the regions that grow are the regions that's welcoming to the immigration. And welcoming doesn't mean just being helpful, it means welcoming people. Having coffee with them, get them involved in your community, bring them on some of the boards and commission, really get them involved in the community itself. That's when people feel welcome. That's when creativity begins. And we also understand that immigration, they're the ones that like to start up small businesses. Let me tell you what small business does for us. We look at the Andy Taylors, the enterprise. They started right here in St. Louis, a small business. Look at them today. Look at Worldwide Technologies. They started right here in St. Louis. St. Louis County loaned that company $200,000. Look at them today. There are great examples. Express Scripts started right here. The owners wanted St. Louis because they went to school at the University of Missouri St. Louis. There's a great legacy here in St. Louis. If you think about the biotech science, the Donald Danforth Plant Science is the largest not-for-profit plant science in the world for research. It's right here in St. Louis. Look at the Monsantos. What they're doing, the $40 million expansion, going to hire another additional 675 people. That's impressive. There are more plant scientists in the St. Louis metropolitan area than any place in the world. That's just outstanding. Look at Express Scripts, a top 150 company. Out of 100 corporations, they're 24th. Can you imagine that? A $100 billion corporation right here. They get ready to expand their company. They're going to add additional 1,500 jobs at $65,000 a piece. That is tremendous for this area. We have a tremendous opportunity in St. Louis area right now that we can be very proud of, but we can't look backwards. We got to go look forward. We're Proposition P, where the city and the county come together to say our front door has got to be the best it is. And happen, our front door is the city of St. Louis. It has to happen. It's for all of our benefits. It brings value to where we live, and we ought to be proud of that.
And I'll tell you what, I pity any other county executive who tries to follow that sales pitch. Charlie Dooley, Charlie, a pleasure. Thank you very much for coming in. We hope you can join us here next Sunday morning for another edition of the Jaco Report.